And once again, I'm on time, y'all. I strive on being on time. I strive on being on time. I'm gonna call them. So listen, tonight I got an awesome show. Um, I got one of my favorite sons. She has become she probably don't I didn't tell her this, but she become my mentor. I have learned to follow her path. She's a mighty woman of God. Um, I've been following her on a couple of groups, and sometimes you have to have a praying person that's on your team so that when you feel low, they have to be able to lift you up. And that she does. Um, Out of the blue, she'll just send me something that will inspire me. Um, I, she never said she's prophetic, but I can tell you that she has blessed me so much since I've met her over the last couple of years, being a part of the alliance and also being a part of the gym. So tonight is very special for me to have her on. But before we get into that, everybody knows that I have to tell you who I am. Hi, my name is Sybil of GT Promotions, keeping it real in the gospel, and the internet radio station, 24/7 internet radio station, KRTG Radio, where all we play is internet. I'm sorry, all we play is independent music, gospel music 24/7. So that's who I am. We created a platform, which is Hot Topics. We're able to bring to you artists and book clubs and everything that is hot on the scene to make sure that we provide exposure. So that's exactly who I am. And we want to send a shout out to my proud sponsors, Gillian and Co. Y'all know that it's Sylvia Gillian of Gillian and Co. She paid the cost to be the boss. She makes sure this platform stays up and running. Again, she pays all the bills, y'all. So I want to send a shout out to her. And just to let you know, she is a tax agent, and she does more than just taxes. She makes sure I remind y'all of that. She does more than just taxes. So listen, without further ado, I want to bring on Sybil. Sybil.
Hello, everybody. Let me put some glasses on a little bit so maybe I can look educated. I don't know,
You
perhaps.
you are educated with the JD on the back of your
Hey,
name.
hey, it's there.
It's there. I am such a big fan. I remember when we were in Atlanta and you were going to school and now you're here. So God bless you. But before we get into that, if you can tell us who you are, introduce yourself.
Oh, this is always the hard part because I tell people I'm just me. Like I'm Sybil Sloan. I'm David and Mary's daughter. I'm Atika's mama. I'm Landon's grandma. And I'm just a servant. Like that's me all the time. I don't really have an introduction for me. That's who I am. I tell people if you want to know who I am, Google me. Google's gonna be more informative than I'm gonna be. I'm just gonna tell you that I love God, I love what I do, and I love my family.
So do I need to Google you so I can get an introduction, Sybil?
Oh, you want a better introduction than that? I thought I did.
No, your introduction is awesome. Your introduction is awesome and we love it. But we learn so many things about you. Um, we learn things about you every day. I know that even though we were at the Alliance in Atlanta, and I didn't know you were a singer until I you invited me to your show one day, and you were like, "Oh, log on to my show," and I'm like, "Wait a minute." She was always behind the scenes at the Alliance, but she's a radio announcer. So then I tuned into your radio show, and then you on the radio show and you started singing. I said, the girl can sing.
That's
So
what everybody says. Like everybody's like, I'm okay. So the industry people call me the tax lady. Like that's what they call me. Now they're like the attorney tax lady. But they're like, but she can sing too, though. So it's funny. It's all really funny.
we are excited. And I do want to say this that I am so happy that I am the first one to talk about your new endeavor. You
You
got a lot of things
are.
going
You
on.
are. You are the first person in the world. So this is inaugural. This is premiere. Like you are premiering. You are premiering this. No one else has gotten this privilege. So
I'm so excited. Um I said I gotta get Sybil on because I need to do the book. And a lot of times, your platform, some people say, oh well, your platform is small. So I don't want to do it. I hear that a lot. They say, we want to go to a more aggressive platform if we're launching our book. So you jump right in and say, yes, what day, when can we do this? So I just want to thank you for
Oh, you're
acknowledging my
welcome.
platform. I really, really appreciate you. So listen,
Absolutely.
tell us about the book because everyone was we were talking about it, a couple friends of mine, and it was like, yeah, we need clarification on that. I'm gonna show yeah, put your mouth on him. So, you
So
know,
first, let me say this. First of all, just to clarify, because you talked about the radio. So every Sunday morning, Central Standard Time, and I'm at Praise 96.5, which is Montgomery's inspiration station. And I am Sybil Sloan, the worshiper. And you ride on the Kingdom Express with me between the hours of 6 and 8:30 Central Time AM. And guess what I do? I pick you up and drop you off at your place of worship. So this Sunday morning, you can go to our site today, praise965.com, download the mobile app, jump on Sunday morning with me, and it'll be the best ride you had in your entire life. So now back to this book. Yeah. So is the book is one of those things that I feel, and I speak to culture because I speak to where I come from. So I can't speak to where everybody else comes from, if that makes sense. I can't speak to another culture because I was raised in a Black family. I was raised in a Black household, and as I ventured through corporate America, as I went forward, as I went and did all these things, I started to realize how emasculating we are to the Black man. And my book is not culture or ethnicity focused. It's a book just to speak to the man of God in your life. However, as a culture, we seem to have a very negative overview of our Black men. We tend to speak to them or about them in a very emasculating manner, meaning we don't honor the kingship that they are, and we don't we culturally, and not and this is not everybody, so this is not a generic statement, but we have more people who emasculate the Black man than we do who empower the Black man. So I noticed that corporate America even began to participate in the behavior because corporate America even started to what I would consider to be corporate America started to not hire a Black man, but then hire a Black woman. That's still a form of emasculation. That's still finding a way to allow the Black woman to appear to dominate the Black man. And so we take on that posture because we're making more money. We take on that posture because we are growing in corporate America. And then we start to belittle them because we've actually over, I guess, stepped over them in the corporate world, but the corporate world is only finding a way to further make the Black man be in a place of inferiority. So now he not only is in a place of inferiority with society, now he's in a place of inferiority with his spouse or his significant other. So it's like, if he never feels like a man, if he never feels empowered, how do you expect him to blossom and be who we want him to be? So my thing was, we always liked, I'm a life coach. So I coach people. I coach people on all walks of life. 98% of my clientele is men, or are men. 98% are men. And when I listen to them, I have to spend so much time reassuring them that they can do it and they can make it, and they don't have to, and they don't have to worry about the scenarios, because if they just continue to faithfully do their part and what they've been anointed to do, empowered to do, gifted to do, birthed to do, brought to earth to do, that they can succeed. So I find myself being the person that's constantly saying to them, you can do it. So I'm constantly like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But that's not the voice they really need to hear. They need to hear their wife saying you can do it, and not raising sand because he stepped out on faith to do what he loves. And now you're angry because your income in your household took a dwindling drop. And now you don't like it because you went from being able to wear red bottoms and now you have to color red bottoms on the bottom of your shoe, for lack of better words, and to insert some humor. So now This man is doing what he feels he's called to do, but he's suffering from having the reassurance from the person that should be saying, hey, babe, I got you. I'm riding with you. We can eat bean and weenies together, or we can eat bratwurst, or we can go eat caviar. But we have not been really taught that, because culturally, a lot of us have been reared in houses that says the man is the head, the man's supposed to do this, the man's supposed to do this. So the expectations of what's supposed to happen in the house are 100% focused on what the man does, and rarely focused on what the woman does. But because life has changed, and now we're not going into relationships with where we're having babies and raising families. These are people most of the time going into relationships who's already had children. They're growing on their own. And now two corporate people are coming together to have a relationship. And now we can't treat the same things. We can't treat things the same anymore, because back when my grandmother was married to my grandfather, no, my grandmother didn't go out and do the same things that I do today in corporate America. And the reason is because culturally, it was taught that that's not what she was supposed to do. So she was supposed to be at home having babies. That's what it was. Like, go home, have a baby, raise your kids. And then he go out and be the breadwinner. And that's absolutely okay. But there are other cultures who the husband stay at home and the wife goes out and quote unquote is the breadwinner. But I find that we don't like to celebrate them as much as I think they should be celebrated. And the reason why I meant what I said. And if you need to put your mouth on him in another way, do that too. That's grown people business. But what I'm referring to in my book is a collection of prayers and affirmations, because we put our mouth on him whenever he doing something we don't want him to do. We put our mouth on him when we say you sorry. We put our mouth on him when we say you will never make enough money. We put our mouth on him when we say you lazy. We put our mouth on him when he say you don't ever do anything. So my book is saying put your mouth on him in a way that's going to build him up, so that he don't have to go to work and get a husband, a work wife. He don't have to go to the country club and get a country club wife, somebody there who's going to lift him up, esteem him, make him feel value. And so now he's vulnerable to an emotional affair, when those things should be coming from his woman. And if your woman praise you enough, unless you just got a demon on you that you need to be delivered from, you're going to find that she values you. And because she valued you, you're going to think differently about betraying her.
Wow. Amen. I think that summed up a lot of things that go on in your head, because we're some strong women.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times that strength can come from not thinking here, but just here. Because I know I got a mouth on me. And sometimes I don't think. So tonight, listening to this, make you think like, you're right. I can scold you when you don't do right. But am I really lifting you up when you doing, So that makes plenty good sense. And I really, that touched me. I think that what you said kind of brought to me that, Kenya, sometimes you do come across a little sharp.
Right, but then that's my other thing. Who gave us the job to scold him? We're not his mother. We're his mate. We're supposed to be the person that he comes to for comfort. And I tell people, it's just like being in an abusive relationship. I know, because I've been in one. If the same person who is abusing you, verbally or physically, is trying to love on you, you're going to feel some kind of way, and you're not going to be open to receiving that from that person, because I don't feel like you can love me and talk to me any kind of way and think that I mean that represents love. That's insanity. So if we are not talking to our mate in a way that draws them to us, we're pushing them away from us, because they're not looking for a mama. They're looking for a mate. They're looking for a companion. They're looking for someone who's going to understand he has flaws. They're looking for someone who's going to understand I'm jacked up in some ways, but it's because of who you are that you can minister to my jacked up ways. And then I'm going to become better because you're going to minister to them. You're not going to scold them. You're not going to emasculate them. You're not going to be ugly. You're not going to be disrespectful. And when a man doesn't get that from his partner, he will get it from another woman. I've been the other woman before too. So yes, he's going to get it from someone else because he's not going to be okay with you being his mama. He don't need a mama. And why do we need to correct him? We might need the correction.
You make a point. I like the transparency in you. You said two things tonight about yourself, because a lot of times people will say, well, she never went through nothing. So I love the transparency because I'm a transparent person. Like you said, I've been there, I did that, so I understand that. So the book, it says a collection of prayers and affirmations. So is this something like a dated calendar, or how what can we expect once we get this book on February 14th?
Yeah, so it's not a dated calendar, FY. It's just a collection. So I sat down and I looked at all of the scenarios that I could come up with. I'm not saying these are all. It's not a cumulative list. It's the list of things that came to me. So I thought about the man who's come out of a divorce, and their spouse may have cheated on them. Prayer for him, to let him know that it's okay to trust another woman with your heart. It's okay that all women don't see things alike. It's okay to move past that point. Don't be a hostage to that. I have a prayer in there for the single father who is raising the children and the mother's not present. It's okay for the father who's not in the children's lives. Prayer for him that God will make it a way for him to get back into his children's lives. Prayer for the man who's starting his own business and understanding that it's okay to walk out. And then there are things. So I think I can do this. Let me see. I think I can do it. I'm going to try to pull up something and read. I'm not exactly sure if I can do it or not, but I'm going to try to. So let me see. I think I can. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull up something and read it, so you'll have something straight from the book. So here's something. Now, this is going to be a different one. Let me read a shorter one because that's a little bit too long in my opinion. Yeah, I don't want to read. So I don't really want to read. Well, ain't too many short ones in here. So I'm just going to read you a piece of it. I'm not going to read you all of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to jump in the middle of something so you won't be able to tell which one it was when you read it. And this part says, baby, we love you beyond your financial hiccup. We are going to lift you up and pour into you. What we want you to know is that this moment will not last forever. And although it doesn't seem like it, you can see the light of day. My king, it's almost morning time for you, baby. This will not be your future. And this is just a moment in your journey. That's just a bleep in your timeline.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a snag. That was just a snag, a snag out of there. But that was dealing with a man who's going through a financial dilemma, and he feels like his money is not where he wants it to be, and he feels like it's going to affect or injure his relationship. And that was the mate reassuring him that this is just a moment, just a bleep in your timeline. And I used the scenario, the bleep in the timeline, because Facebook timeline, things go up and down our timeline all the time, and it's just a bleep in your timeline. Just, be okay that, and we're here with you. We're going to journey through this, and you're almost through it. You're actually probably closer than you think. So.
Okay. So so the book is actually for me and him.
Oh yes. He don't need to be thinking that I'm reading them words to him. His woman really needs to, and this is the other thing. So when I was coaching some people, they would be like, well, what do I need to do in this scenario? I was like, build them up. I said, let me tell you something. You can never overbuild your spouse, your mate. You can never make them too confident in themselves. Anything you do, that just lets them know that you honor them. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, find the areas that you know he needs building and build there, put blocks there. Blocks are words, put things of affirmation, encourage him in those areas, because he's not going to have that coming from someone who's not close to him, unless it's someone else. But again, he's not going to have that. He's not going to have that coming because he's experiencing life, and life is coming at him. And if we're the negative voice, we
Right.
can't be the nurturing voice if we're the negative voice. So we have to decide which one we want to be. Do we want to nurture him and make sure that he's the best man that he can be? Or do we want to nag him and turn him to someone else being the one to fulfill his emotional needs?
Mm. And I think that that makes sense. A lot of time we're not lifting. We're right. So within these last 30 minutes, I've learned a whole lot, Sybil. I just want to thank you. And like I
You're
said,
welcome.
well, I can't pay you for a counseling session. I'm just joking. This is good because, like I said, a lot of women, um, we've been taught to be so strong. We've
Oh
been
yeah.
taught to be, we have the male, and then we're taught to be, I'm still woman, and I'm the woman, and this is how I am. So we were raised that way. Now, the new generation of women are raised that don't take no mess. If you say A, you say B, and if you say C, you got to get the left. So we're being raised up that way. And it's crazy to say, but that's the way we're being raised. These independent women. We make our own money. We pay our own
Well,
bills.
see, I don't even like that song. I like that song when I was not aware, but I don't like that song anymore. And the reason why I do not like that song anymore is because you were not made independent. If you are a Bible believer, you were not made
Right.
independent. We were made codependent upon one another. And the problem is we have adopted society's norm for us, which is independent woman. Don't need a man for anything. Well, you are going against biblical standard if you're saying you don't need a man for anything, because now what you're telling me is you're either going to be gay or you're going to self-love on it yourself. We can just say it however it is. You're going to either be into, you're going to either be gay or you're going to self-love. And I'm not here to judge either way. But what I am saying is when we take on that, we don't need a man, we then are drawing a line saying that we're taking our affection somewhere else. And so you may not be into another woman, but you'll be into your job. Your job will become your mate. Your hobbies will become your mates. And so I'm not okay with this independent woman thing. I really don't embrace it. I don't consider it to be biblically sound. And neither do I consider it to be something that I want to take in my core. I mean, I got that INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? You got our own car. Yeah, Zeta. That's what we do on our little stroll. But again, I don't take that into my core of my conscience because I don't want to be without my man. I don't want to be without a man. I'm not saying in a relationship, I'm not saying I don't want to be without a man, meaning I can't be. I'm meaning if I have a man in my life, I don't want to be independent of him. I want him to understand that I have a desire to have a reliance upon him. I don't want him to feel like he
Mm.
don't have to do it, because what happens whenever you start making somebody feel like they don't have to do it, they don't do it. And then if a man desires to be your knight in shining armor, a true man desires to rescue you. He desires to be your protector, your provider, your priest. If
Mm.
you create in him that he don't need to be that to you, he's going to find the woman who desires that, whether it's his side piece or whatever. He's going to find the person who desires him to be her priest, her provider, and her protector, because a man innately wants to be your knight in shining armor. And he struggles when he don't have to rescue you. And sometimes, like when he don't have to rescue you, you got to have those conversations and be like, it's okay that you don't have to rescue me, but you're still significant. You still matter. You're still the man of my dreams. You're still a king to me. I still honor you, but I just happen to be in a situation in life where I don't have to be rescued in this way. Let me show you where I do need to be rescued at. I do need
Amen.
to be rescued in this area. And sometimes it causes us to have more communication, more dialogue so that he'll know you might not have to rescue me financially, but I might need you to rescue me emotionally. I might need you to rescue me by holding me and letting me know that you're there for me. I might not need for you to go shoot them up, bang, bang, but I need you to just know that if I need you to ride up on somebody, you've shown me that you're going to do that.
You you want just in case, huh?
Just in case.
Hey, listen, you know I'm all. I tell people all the time I'm all about that because you never know when you're going to need someone. I always laugh with my spouse and I say, he said, well, you mean when you want to fight first. I say, no, I'm the one that if your tire go flat, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna help you change it. I'm not gonna sit in the car until you finish. Cause you know I'm tomboyish. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm
I'm
just
gonna sit in the car.
you gonna sit in the car?
Yeah, absolutely. Why are both of us outside in the elements? Like,
So
do you need
so
my help? If you need my help, that's a little bit different. But you don't need my help. I'm gonna sit in the car. Yeah,
you
I ain't
know
helping you
so
take no time. Do you see my nails?
but you know what? And the crazy thing is about it is that I was raised in a home where um, our dad, what he did was he took us out there, showed us how to check the oil.
I
He
get it.
showed us how to do all that. He said, listen, there may come a time when you don't have a man to your right or left. I need you to know how to check your oil pressure, your everything. So we are those women that, listen, if you move slow, I'm already doing it. I'm like, listen, I be like, can you do? And they like, oh, I got you, I got you. I'm like, before you know it, I done went out, changed the tire,
Okay,
did it.
I'm inserting this because I think that's also a form of emasculation. And mind you, let me be clear. I know how to change oil. I know how to check tire pressure.
Yeah,
I know how to do all of that stuff. But would I ever make my man feel like not today? Now, the Sybil of 15 years, 10, 15 years ago, that was exactly who I am. Belittling, smart mouth, degrading. Oh, if you were sorry, I found how many shades of sorry to tell you. I probably would find the whole synonym section other than sorry to tell you how many ways you were sorry, just not to say the word sorry. So you couldn't say I called you sorry. But I realized that you can, even a dog gets tired. Even a dog gets tired, and you can't verbally beat, abuse, misuse. Again, my word of forever is emasculate a man and expect him to honor you as his queen because you're still that person that he comes home to. So now the old people, yeah, they be in this thing forever. So you can talk, they talk all kinds of ways to one
yeah.
another, and that's just what they do. But younger people, no, we're not we should be past that at this point, and our dialogue should be healthy and it should be uplifting and it should be
Yeah.
I will do my best, and I do my best to not make it seem like you're not getting to it fast enough, because if he has other things to do, that could be his delay. But if I always go do it, it may not be being verbally emasculating, but it's still emasculating because now I'm saying you don't move on my time. So since you don't do it on my time, I'll just do it myself. That's still saying I don't need you.
Hmm. I received correction.
Sometimes you just gotta have a conversation, be like, honey, I asked you like 3 times to do that. Like, are you not gonna do it? Because if you're not gonna do it, I understand. We just gotta communicate that you're not gonna do it. Because what I don't want to happen, and this is really how I talk. It really, like, I don't do too much of the yelling stuff. I'm almost 50. I'm too old for that. I'll be like, but what I'm thinking is if you don't have time to do it, it is absolutely, would it be offensive to you if I go ahead and take care of it? And then because I created that dialogue, that's also bringing him into that decision making process, because now I'm just not saying F you and going to do it myself. I'm actually saying, like, they actually do this like 3 times. So apparently it looked like you don't have time. And I don't want to make that assumption because you could have forgotten, because you're human just like I am. So let's have a conversation about this so we can get this done. And I don't want to hurt. I don't want to step into your lane. I want to still let you be the man and you take lead and not me lead you.
That makes sense. So I'm gonna be patient.
That's a gift in a
I'm a,
relationship.
I'm gonna work on that because you know I'm like, listen, I don't worry, I got this. I go out and cut grass, do you know? So it, you right, and you sometimes you how we say now you get rebuked within something that you're doing, so it does open your eyes to something different that you may think that you're doing right, but you're doing wrong. So whether
Well,
you're
I don't know if it's right or wrong. Let me say this, but what I can say is based on what the mandate the Lord gave me for helping women in relationships, as well as when men come to me to talk about their mates, I don't just be like, your wife over the top. No, I'll be like, okay, this is an example in real life. I'm gonna say this. I don't want to keep dragging or belaboring things. But when a man says, he's my client and we set up his business starts going, but it started off like slow. Then it goes, and his wife has a problem. So he'll be like, I don't know what to do. I'll be like, what you mean you don't know what to do? Like your business is doing well. Yeah, but my wife said, and I'll tell him, I said, you know what? When you met your wife, did you tell her that you wanted to start your business 5, 6 years into your marriage? Did you tell her that 6 years into your marriage, you were just going to walk off your job that she
hmm,
had become dependent upon and go walk on faith and pursue your dreams? He's like, no, I ain't tell her that. I said, well, why would you expect her to be okay with your decision? I said, I'm not saying she's right or you're right. I'm saying you have to see it from her perspective. You made a financial decision that she's going to be impacted by, and you knew in your heart of hearts that you one day wanted to own your own business. You should have had that pre-talk with her. So she know I'm going to marry a dude that somewhere in this journey, he's going to be an entrepreneur. He's going to walk away from his job. Even if she doesn't accept it, it's not like she went into it blindly. See, I'm a person that don't believe people should be blinded by things that you already know is either going to happen or has happened. Tell on yourself. So okay, nobody else telling you. That's how I
yeah,
feel about
tell
life.
yourself so can't nobody
Yeah.
else tell you.
I'm gonna control the narrative. So if I'm jacked up, I'm gonna tell you about me being jacked up. You're not gonna control my narrative. You're not gonna tell about my life. You're not gonna tell about my errors. I'm gonna tell about my errors because I'm gonna tell it the way I wanted to be told. You're gonna tell it the way you wanted to be told. And so when you think about relationships, everything has a narrative. And because of the world that we live in, and because men are less than women, and because we have this overpopulation and underappreciation, we have to be mindful. And I'm not saying we got to walk on eggshells, but I'm saying we have to be mindful to consider our mate, to consider his value. And if he doesn't have value, then have that conversation. Have the conversation. This book is just about talking, and it's about building him up. It's about doing your best to be gentle with him and to make sure you nurture what's in him instead of nag what's in him, because that's going to cause him
Mm,
to turn away from you. It's going to cause him to feel like I'd rather go deal with this chick across town who's probably not even better for me, who's probably not even a more equivalent mate, because women are always mad because he go get that ratchet chick. She gonna do whatever. She gonna make him feel however he need to feel. You could be
mhm.
corporate and you could be on top of your game and you could be this and that, but you're too rigid. You're not loose. You don't want to have no fun. So yeah, if you need to put your mouth on him for real, do that too. That might bring the spark back to your relationship if it's dead. I'm just saying, you got to be willing to make sure that you're the only one that's making his head pop. Literally, all both of them.
Put your mouth on them.
Put your mouth on.
Mm, hallelujah. I bet it's some men clapping their hands. Yes,
Well, I'm just saying, listen, so
we grown.
when I talked about the name of the book, I had some guys that was like, "Oh yeah, amen, amen, amen." I said, "Well, just so y'all know, this is not a sex guide or tutorial. This is positive affirmations." I said, "But if they need that, then they need that too. Like whatever you need to do, because you don't realize there's so much temptation out here. There's so many people out here that's willing to take your spot. Everybody wants to get on the team. And some people are willing to do whatever they got to do to get on the team. But it's not because they deserve to be on the team. They're willing to take your spot and be disrespectful. And like
And
I
they do
said,
strange things for change.
they'll do some strange things for a little bit of
And we
change.
run around here in church and want to tell us, no, I'm not, we in church every day, all day, and they out there doing strange things for change and telling him he's zaddy and we coming home arguing, throwing, you know. So you get it. They. I mean, we all grown. All my we come home and throw the purse on the couch. I'm tired. I've been working and I had to go to church and I had to go do this
I
and
got
that.
or at church all day and following your leaders all across the country, but your husband at home hadn't had a hot cooked meal from his wife since Hector was a puppy. I'm not saying that the woman got to cook. I'm old fashioned in that regard. I do have a tendency to believe that when it comes to the kitchen, most women work their way around the kitchen very well. Some men do it very well. My dad's a great cook, but I believe that if he works more than me, I probably am the person who has more flexibility in making sure a square meal could be cooked that actually is going to be a real meal, nutritious, so he can get what he needs. Because people are ready to take our places, ladies. There's no doubt about it. Somebody's always, and I know somebody slick with the mouth is going to say, oh, if they want them, they can have them. That's how you feel now till they get them. And now you on Facebook posting about how ratchet she is. But most of us aren't getting our mates taken. Most of us are handing our mates off like a football game.
What on a platter? I said that the other day. So many women are just, you know, we're not being conscious of what we're doing. We're just in that motion, just in the motion of just. I watched well, I'm thinking it was like one of the Love of Hip Hops. I just breezed by it the other day and I stopped because I seen the scene and the I don't know the name because I don't watch the show. I don't watch that particular show. And then Christy came out and she's seen her and he said, "Why every time I see you got these flannel pajamas on?" You know, she said, "Because it's comfortable." But they've been together for years. He said, "Every time I see you got these flannel pajamas on, why don't you put on something else?" You know, but we think because we've been there for so long, it's okay to go and get ready for bed, put a headband on, and wear the flannel pajamas. And what he's saying is, listen, I want to see you in another light.
What he's saying is, I want you, most of us, oh my Lord, this is so true. Most of us gonna do our good dressing, our good makeup, our good outfits to get that man. And no sooner than we pull him in, we go to that lazy, crazy chick. We lazy, we don't want to keep our hair combed every time you see us. We got it wrapped all around every time you see us. We don't put one of these little things on our head with a little thing on the front. Like, what do you think he not attractive to you being attracted? Right. They want to see us looking gorgeous. That's exactly right. He want to see us with our booty shorts on. He want to see us with our girls perked up, not dragging down to our belly. He want to see us sexed up. That's right. That he wants to see what we bring into the table besides a dialogue. And he wants to make sure when we serve him, put some heels on if you have to.
Yeah. And you can't put no church music on.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, they say, "You always listen to church music." I say, at church, not at home. You know, I got a little repertoire, little stereo system that don't have no church in it. Because you know that we both go to church. But you know, when it's time to go,
they said, "Jesus, take the wheel." They praying for me. Y'all better pray because y'all know I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
Hey,
I ain't gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
Listen, they got people, real people. That's why I'm like, let me just you keep it real and I keep it real. We just keep it real. That's just who we are. But I know a lot of. I had showed the book to some young ladies that were younger than me and wilder than me, and it was like, "Well, what this book about?" I said, "I don't know. I'm gonna get it." I say, but the young girl, she always say, just jokingly, because she just wild. Show them what your mouth can do. And I said, "Look at this book." When I saw it, right? She said, "Oh, I like that book." I said, "It said a collection of prayers and affirmations. You're going to need this."
Yeah, you're gonna need those. You're gonna need those.
You're going to need this. See the top? A collection of prayers and affirmations. She talking about, "I don't care. I like the title." I said, "Y'all mind just went." Because I wanted to
everybody
see.
Mind did. Everybody who's looked at the book, that I've had people inbox me, is like, yourself. I have no shame in this book. As a matter of fact, when you get it and your wife start talking to you, you're gonna ask me, am I gonna make a sequel?
Listen, if it sell all the books and make it a bestseller because they want to see what it say, let them think that.
Right.
We just want to see bestsellers, see the Sloan. So everybody go out and get the book, put your mouth on him, It
Yes.
is a collection of prayer affirmations and instructions. Just
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's going to necessarily have instructions, but it is going to be prayers and affirmations, and it's just going to be um which examples, I'm trying to figure out, follow you,
wait, we
Tiffany.
should say it has a lot to do with tradition as well. Those examples that probably wasn't healthy. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna tell you what examples it was. Back in the day, the men were able to have whole families out there, and the old school mamas knew about it. But as long as they was taken care of, they didn't care. As long as they was coming home and putting the money on the table, they were able to go out and do everything humanly possible. That's old school. Now
Yeah.
you don't find out till the man die.
Well, okay, so this is my thing. So me and my mom talk about this all the time. We have to remember what society and what slavery did. Because if you guys really did your research on slavery, slavery took men from their families, stripped men from their families, and placed them in areas where they were forced to be with other families. Now, what am I saying? I believe some things became innate. I believe things became like smeared into the DNA. And to now, that almost became a norm for us culturally. We would have men that wouldn't, quote unquote, wasn't there for their families, but they will leave their family and go get another woman with kids and raise that family and take care of those
Mhm.
kids better than they took care of their own. And then you had the people who had multiple families, and just for the record, everybody wasn't naive. The mama most often knew that this man had another set of kids
Yep.
on the other side of town. The
Yes.
mama most often knew that this man had another woman on the other side of town. But because he came home every night, because he still took care of that family, she did not press the issue. Why? Because he took care of his
Of the family.
home. The problem today is it's not that cheap to live and take care of multiple families. So men aren't successfully able to have a family on multiple sides of town and they still be the provider and the priest in their home.
No, I'm going to say this: the way women are now versus the women back in the day are totally different. The side chick don't know their role. Back in the day, you can be just we keeping it 100. The side chick don't know their role. The side chick think that they catch 14 feelings and they go and they want to knock on the door. Like I said, you did not know that a man was dating another woman, crossed 16 blocks over, one house over, had a whole just pull their car up in the garage up under the carport. You did not know that. The world didn't know it, the streets didn't know it, nobody cared. But now these side chicks go. These side
Well,
chicks
I
come to
think
the
people
house.
knew it. I just think the street committee didn't have as much access to it because the people knew it. Because Janie them knew that on the other side of town, Bobo had a wife and kids.
Mhm.
And Janie's friend knew that Bobo would come over there uh, after work. He come right after work because that's how they do. They come right after work.
Mhm.
And then before they go home. So it's sort of kind of, yeah. Side chicks do
Side chicks don't have respect.
be the
Listen,
main chick, and
side chicks don't have respect no more. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. A lot of times we have been there,
well,
and
I've been the other woman. I ain't gonna call myself a side
you
chick.
know your
I have
role.
been the other woman.
You
Yeah,
know your role.
I
You
have
know,
much as contrary as somebody's gonna say this is, or as contradictory as it is. I was very respectful to the wife.
right, right. You know your role. This new age of being a side chick, these side chicks are bold. They will come and sit to the children birthday parties. These are some bold the
Yeah, they
baby
are both.
showers. They would listen. They just and if they don't get what they want, the first thing I do is straight to social media, take a picture, you and the man. Oh, this our husband. It like, come on, really?
Yeah.
And that is the new age of the way things work.
Wow. Yep, and that's the other thing. I'm glad you said that, Miss Blackman, because I do feel like that whole I'm strong, I'm independent, I don't need you, and if you don't do it, I'll get it done, and making a man feel that, hey, I, I just think when you make a man feel less than, and I say this because I have a father, I have grandfathers that have gone on, I have uncles, I have brothers, and I just always, besides cracking jokes on my brothers, I'm really hard on my brothers. Um, I just feel like that it's always, I do believe that. I feel like it's always the fact that we haven't learned how to love on our black men. Like I love on black men, period. That don't mean
Mhm.
I'm in love with your man. That don't mean I want your man. And because I said I've been the other woman, it ain't because I went into the game as the other woman. That's just not how I went into the game. I just didn't want to be anything past what I was, so somebody else did. Um, but I believe we don't love on our black men, and I speak culturally. I'm speaking culturally because that's the culture I'm a part of. But I think this has to do with men, period. Like I'm not saying my book is not assigned to a race. My book is assigned to the male gender, and I'm gonna love on every man I meet. I ain't in love with him. I ain't gonna want to sleep with him. I ain't gonna want to be with him. But I'm gonna love on every man I meet. I'm gonna
That's
make him feel like he's king in my presence. And so when he go home, I want him to expect his wife and his daughter, his other people he did. I'm gonna expect him to want that kind of treatment when he get home, and it's gonna mean nothing else. Nothing else. It doesn't mean anything else because the person in my life, I love on him. Even when I think he plucked every nerve I think I got, I
true.
make sure that I love on him past how he make me feel because the Bible says, and I'm gonna always bring you back to the text. The Bible says that the heart is deceitful and it doesn't tell you what was really true. So I realize while I may be mad at you, you may be challenging me in another area of my life that I haven't been challenged in. And because you're challenging me, you're forcing me to deal with things that I haven't had to deal with. So everything that the man does, it is not necessarily him being wrong. A lot of times it's us not understanding his purpose in our lives. Sometimes he's there to nudge us in another path. And to the divorce I had caused me to realize I needed to work on my mouth.
Mm.
That's what caused me to realize I need to work on my mouth. When I reflected back, when I listened to when I played back the things that I said in my head, and I said, "Ooh, what I want somebody to say that to me, what I want somebody to talk to me in that tone, what I want somebody to gesture to me that way, or as a matter of fact, what I want another chick talking to my brother like that,
Wow.
without me feeling like I need to get saucy and get up in her business."
Wow.
But I think that was okay. And so what happened is once I came into this evolutionary thing with the Lord of my own self-reflection, once I start valuing who I was, I'm then able to value who God sends into my life. And that's real talk. You
My
can't value who a man is until you value who you are. And most of us think it's all about our career. Most of us think it's all about what we got going on. So until we realize that that's not going to make your relationship unified, until we realize we can't talk to him for the kid crazy and think he's going to be okay with it, until we realize that you put your mouth on him about everything else. You put your mouth on him talking about his baby mama. You put your mouth on him sometimes talking about his mama. You put your mouth talking about his family. Put your mouth on him and encourage him and deal with the things that he's facing and struggling with that nobody else has been able to help him through. We're called to his life for a reason, whether it's for months or for days. When you're there, make it memorable. And I always tell people, if you don't appreciate my presence, you won't appreciate my absence, because I'm going to make sure that I love on you in such a way that whenever I'm no longer around, then you're going to find yourself still yearning for somebody to love you just like that. I don't want to leave you and we go our separate ways and you be like, "Whoo, I'm so glad I'm done with her. Oh, I couldn't take her mouth. Oh, I couldn't take her." And that's the things that I feel like we don't want men walking away. We can walk away from one another, but don't let it be because you just couldn't control your mouth. You were a nag and you always got on his nerves, nagging about everything. Most of the time, the problem we're so overzealous about is our own issue. We got issues, and the issues that we have, we want to make them become his issues. And so we nag him about stuff that we don't do right. We nag him about stuff that we need to do. Be more attentive, have better time management, focus on the things that he called us to do. I think that that's reality. And
So we'll stay here all night long if we could. We'll be here all night. Just tell us how we can get the book. What can we do? Is it on Amazon? How can we find it so we can buy it?
Okay, so you can right now pre-orders are through my website. The pre-order button will go live sometime in February. So the pre-order from Amazon, but it will be on Amazon. It is going to be a self-published book. It's going to be Amazon. And my website is www.sybilsloan.com. So it's my name. And I have 2 books out. I actually have Holding On and Letting Go, which is the first book that I wrote. It's a self-help book. And I have this book that will be out in February. But you can pre-order from my website. And I'm just letting you guys know they have not updated where you have to pay for shipping and handling, and you do have to pay for your own shipping and handling. I will not be paying for shipping and handling.
So we thought we were going to get a gift.
No, we're not.
So no gift. So
yeah, the gift is my signature.
So we're gonna reach out and we want to support Sybil Sloan. Head over to sybilsloan.com. I did put it in the comments, guys, so that you can purchase the book. Now, just to let you know, she knows that I am like one of their biggest fans. They have so much going on. Let's Talk Gospel, which is she's on Let's Talk Gospel each and every Tuesday night. Did you hit the record button? I was in class, so I wasn't able to make it. Did you?
No, because I'm giving out what I consider to be intellectual property. So I'm not getting, so there's no record button this month, but we're going to work on that next month.
We're going to work on it? Okay. So no this month, but just let you know that I'm not within the body of Christ because I'll be in his class. But
and I do apologize, but you have personal access to me, so you don't necessarily have to be on the call to get information. That's the beauty. Everybody doesn't have that privilege.
I love when I tell you I sit here to the same very table, and it's crazy, at 9:00 on Tuesday with my pen and my paper taking notes and being educated. People just don't understand the importance of that show. That's why I constantly share it in every group so that I want everybody to get the knowledge I get, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, guys, you guys are putting out music on a Tuesday evening, and I share this stuff and I want you guys to learn it. But that's a whole other conversation, because we'll be there for a whole other day too. You'll come back and talk about the industry.
Let's talk gospel. That's what it is. Let's Talk Gospel. It's on Facebook. If you're in the industry at all, any industry, gospel or secular, that's a good call.
It's good for everybody. So listen, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
That's your I like that though. Girls' night out.
Yeah, I actually have a colleague in North Carolina, Celebrity Chef Judy Cage. It's actually her baby. However, just for, I'm glad I'm doing a live interview so I can say this live. I actually contacted her and asked her, did I have her permission to use her concept? And she said, absolutely. So it's never been done in Montgomery. So Super Bowl Sunday, we're doing a girls' night out networking event. So entrepreneurs, business owners, we're going to set up. We have, just so I can put this out there, we have Judge, she's judge-elect. That's not a such thing. But we have Loria James, who's currently a DA. She's running for a judge seat here. She will be there. She's a sponsor for the event. Judge Brooke Reed, who's the judge that I work for, she's also going to be there. She's a sponsor for the event. We have some other sponsors, but those I wanted to put out there. So Loria James, who is running for judge, she's currently a DA, and Judge Brooke Reed, who currently is a judge in Montgomery County at the circuit court level. They are 2 of the sponsors for the event.
So you're going to be doing Super Bowl in Montgomery, and I'm going to not be able to travel in South Florida because the Super Bowl is right here.
Oh no, you won't be able to move.
We're not going to be able to go nowhere. No, as soon as Super Bowl weekend because they're having a big concert like that week. So we're not going to be able to move anywhere in this area. So we're going to be locked down because the traffic is getting ready to be chaos in our area. So you guys enjoy that. But one more thing I want to discuss that it is right here also in my backyard. So we have
And you
um,
gotta be there. You hear me?
I listen.
Anybody who's
I
anybody that's a woman. I know I'm interrupting you and that's rude. Because I don't like when people say I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yes, you did mean to
That's
interrupt.
all right.
But so I want to say if and we have right now we're letting people enroll and register for $100. But the Beyond You exclusive VIP Prophetic Women Conference 2020 is going to be Beyond You. It's going to take you to the next you, the next level, the next place. If you have oxygen, if you have lungs, if you have legs, if you can move and you're not ambulatory or confined or immobile, you need to be in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm telling you, you will not leave the same. Oh my goodness. I wish that I could explain to you guys the outline and how it's set up, but I'm telling you, when the Lord gave it to me, it had me drunk for days. Like literally, I was drunk taking it in because it was so much. And I called Lady Amaryllis West, who's with Hosey Chapel, seeing me in Columbus, Georgia. And I was like, the Lord put you on the list first for me to call. And she was like, oh my God. And she was like drunk. It was crazy. So this is going to be a phenomenal event. If you're not making your way to Florida, you're not trying to do anything in March. I'm telling you, March Madness, that's what they call it for the NCAA. If you're a woman, if you're exploring your gifts, and if you're somewhere in your life where you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to do next, if you're at a crossroads, if you are crossed up, if you are confused, this is the place to be.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get. I think they're gonna be in battle with down here we have this thing called Jazz in the Gardens. It's really huge, and another week for us to have no traffic. So I said I can't go. Can't come down Friday. I think it's the 19th is Friday and the 21st is Saturday,
So the
right?
19th is Thursday and the 20th is Friday.
Okay, so I gotta take okay. We're gonna work that out. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
there one day.
because trust me, I'm leaving at 12 o'clock sharp on Saturday because we're in the Centennials of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. We are in our Centennial and we are doing the most, and we will be having our final womanhood gala on that Saturday night. So I will be back in Montgomery. I will be leaving at 12 o'clock sharp. My car will be parked, will be loaded that morning before I get into the building to do my executive exit, and I will be out of there in my car, headed back to Montgomery, ready to host our final womanhood event.
All right, so I gotta work this out because I do have to come and be a part. You can't come this close and then I don't support you. You're like 5 hours away, so we're gonna have to work on that to see what we can do. And if you don't mind, I want coverage. I want to have coverage so we're able to
I
basically.
give you full access coverage.
I want coverage so we'll be able to basically just let people know what's going on. I want to provide interviews because there's no level of exposure. I tell people all the time that much exposure can cause that much exposure. You have no clue what just sitting down to the table, and I always thought I had to do this and I needed this, and I looked at the internet one day, and the lady said, "You don't need all that. Sit down to your table, use your laptop, go live, and build yourself up." And it took me a couple of months to even start to doing this. And I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. And guess what? It has really taken off, and God has truly blessed me in this because Sybil, people are calling me. People are reaching out to me. That I'm like, whoa, it's you're in the car screaming like, so you acting like a kid because they're reaching out. So I thank God for it. And I thank God that you were able to join me tonight.
I'm
And I do
excited
thank
about it.
I thank so much, and I know that we probably after Jacksonville, I won't see you again to Tennessee. You're gonna be in Tennessee, right?
I'll be in Vegas.
Okay, I won't make Vegas. I won't be able to
Okay.
make Vegas this year, but I will be in Tennessee for the Doves.
Okay.
I will be in Tennessee for the Doves and for the Gin. So we will be there. But I've held you for 59.41 seconds.
I
So I'm gonna
know
let you
that was a long time for me.
listen. I know, but you know what? Didn't even feel like it until I looked at the time clock. So listen, go ahead and tell us, what you want to say. We can close out, and I won't hold you much longer.
I want to say to every lady that's watching, whether you're watching the replay or whether you're watching the actual, I'm telling you, you want to be in Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to be the most prophetically exuberating and delivering experience you could ever have in the earth. It will be the catalyst to take you to your place called next. And I want to say you can go to that website is b-on-u.com and register. The rooms are going fast. For some reason, people register, they book their rooms before they register because they didn't want to lose space. And some people are in Florida, but make sure you go and book your rooms because they are going fast. And once that block is gone, I don't want to really commit to more rooms because I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, because if you guys don't show up, I got to pay for it.
I understand that.
Right. So I'm very intentional about what I do in business. Also, I want to say to you, Kenya, because you were kind enough to bring me to your platform, I speak this prophetically to you that the Lord is going to enlarge your territory, not just because of me, but because of what he has on my life. There's no one that there's no one on earth or in the earth that blesses me that does not get exceeding abundantly above all they could ever ask or think, because the Lord has an anointing on my life. And when people pour into me, their cups literally begin to run over, and it doesn't be many days from now. So you can expect God to move in an area that you need him to move just for you quickly, because he's favorable to anybody who favors me, because he knows if you consider me, you've considered God, because that could be the only thing that will allow you to desire to have me on your platform. So I pray blessings and increased blessings, and anybody who doesn't believe that it's big enough, let that be their problem, not your problem, because there's the people that God is going to send you. And sometimes we want the big fish, but we need to take the trout. We need to take the croaker. We need to take the smaller fish, because what we don't understand is sometimes when we try to consume too much, we regurgitate and we don't have anything. So I would rather have the smaller things that lead me to the greater things, because it's the lakes and rivers that leads you to the ocean.
My God. Thank you so much, Sybil. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate your blessings, and thank you so much. And again, I do love you. You are my sister. I always say, I think she's my mentor, but I don't call her that, but she is my mentor.
Well, I'm just a servant, and I guess what I'm gonna do God long as God do me. So hey,
But I always take from you in all ways, and I've always loved the love you poured in me when I've been in Atlanta, Tennessee. You have always poured into me. So I want to thank you, because I've always been that girl that was just there by myself. I always travel by myself. So you guys have always taken good care of me. So I just want to say thank you.
You're
Bishop too. Y'all really take care of me. I'm just up there. I just fly and all over the place, and you guys always look out. So I want to thank you.
we are family, and you're more than welcome. And trust me, it's just the beginning, because God is about to do some things that we could not even imagine. I'm telling you, if you don't have your bags packed, see, now I'm getting ready to get off here because I'm feeling prophetic. If you don't have your bags packed, pack your bags, because I'm telling you, you got to prepare and anticipate for what God is about to do. Quit trying to get ready and be ready. Stay ready. Because some of you are going to miss it because you're trying to get ready to get there. God says, prepare to be ready to be there. And he's going to make the way, but you got to be ready. You got to be ready that if you got the phone call tomorrow, you just grab your bag and go. Not you got to go pack your bag. See, somebody going to catch this in the spirit, and you're going to be ready and you're going to pack your bag. Don't try to go see when you can pack your bag. Pack your bag and have your bag ready to go. And when the call comes, you just move, because time is always of the essence. And we always must move with haste whenever we're in the realm of God. But I'm done. Let me get off of here so I can go finish my homework.
All right. So when I'm going to let you go, listen, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to let you go because we'll be here for another hour.
Yeah, no, we ain't, because I got homework.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me. Love you. I'm out.
Love you too. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. And remember, change the way that you think, and you will alter the entire course of your life. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So, guess what? Don't even try.
Amen. All right. So listen. Woo! That was she got fire. Let me tell you something. I love me some Sybil Sloan. I love her on Let's Talk Gospel. I love her when we're basically at events. She is so full of information. So again, I wanna give a shout out to my proud sponsors, which is Gideon and Co. Again, she paid the cost to be the boss, and she does more than just taxes. And also, I want to invite you guys to celebrate Black History with me. It's the gospel concert, the praise and worship experience, magazine of the gospel. Kenya C. Wheeler, the CEO. I call myself the visionary. And we will be at Living Wesley Theater at 2 Southwest Fifth Avenue in the great city of Delray Beach on February the 8th from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. This will be one of the largest concerts in 2020. Y'all hear me? I need y'all to come out and support me on February the 8th. And also, one more thing we just want to say is it's a love thing. A night out for the grown folks, February 14th, 2020, at the Allied Cultural Arts Center in Pompano Beach at 365 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It's from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. But listen, guys, I know you guys, this is for my church folks, there will be no church music. We gonna have a dancing good time. We got a live band. We got some people that's gonna sing, and they're gonna play some regular music. So if you churchy, that ain't what you want to come to, because they're not gonna play no church music. We gonna get out. We're gonna get out. So again, I want to thank each and every person for tuning in tonight. It has been absolutely amazing. I want to thank Sybil again for the words you poured into my life, because sometimes well, I'm going to say all the time, you need words of inspiration. And I know that she always pours into me. So listen, guys, I've held you guys for an hour and 6 minutes. I'm going to let y'all go because I got to go. All right. Good night.